Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is going to be for January 14th, Capricorns. Happy belated birthday. This is to see what's in store for you for the year 2020. If you're not a Capricorn and you're just watching this at any specific time, that's fine too, because time is irrelevant. So at the time that you are watching this, perhaps your intention or question will be answered. So take as it resonates and forget what doesn't, okay? Here we go. So we're doing one card tarot pull from the Rider-Waite deck. So one tarot card per month. And then we're going to do one oracle card pull for clarification. So for January 2020, even though that is past, you can apply that to this year, or you can even apply it for your future of 2021. So kind of a good way to check to see, how was your January 2020? Let me know. Okay, so far we have January, February, I believe this was March, and April. I'm going to take that for February. I'll take this for March and this one for April. Usually I don't like to take more than one card. If they're coming out in a huge cluster, I won't take it, but those kind of fell out separately, so I take it. So looking for clarification in July. July, August, clarification for September, now October, and this is the Magical Unicorns Oracle card deck by Doreen Virtue that I'm using for the Oracle cards. I don't think I said that. Okay, one more time, and if I don't get anything for October, I'm just going to move on to November for clarification. Alright, so nothing for October, I mean. So clarification for November. Okay. And December. Interesting. Okay, and we'll try one more time for October. If not, we'll just go on with the reading. October is pretty, I think. Forward anyways. Anything for October. Oh, okay, there we go. Alright, so there's October. Alright, so for the first card from January, we have the moon. And as we know, the moon can make everyone a little bit crazy, as it's like all the energy that comes from the new moon is pent up, and with the full moon, it could be letting go of some sort of energy or some wish that has or hasn't come true. So it's a release of energy, essentially. You have a pillar of 2 towers here, it looks like, so it could be something of a twin flame nature. You know, like the old saying, like, I found my lobster. So there's this lobster here with 2 dogs howling at the moon with a path going either to the water or to the mountains. And if you're religious at all, I remember there was this one sermon where the pastor was talking about the woods, or going to the water or to the wilderness. When you're born, you are birthed in water. Sometimes you are in water, and sometimes we go through trouble through our births. Some people have cords around their necks, which could be like a wilderness type situation. And then you have your christening, which is done in water. A lot of situations that we can be in our life can be in the wilderness. So a lot of times you go from the water to the wilderness, and it's like, good and evil. There's good and evil in everything. Just like there's the sun and the moon, you can't have the light without the dark. So it's always a balance, a contrast, right? So perhaps you were going through some sort of release in January of wish fulfillment, or a situation that you're coming to terms with that either has or hasn't come true. However, your oracle card says that yes, what you have been asking about is the truth and is true. So in answering that question, only you really can answer that question for yourself, as you are in tune to your own consciousness and gut feelings, right? In February, we have the High Priestess. Now, the High Priestess is more of like a divine card. It is a major arcana. And your oracle card says, love heals fear. The power of your love can help bullies and angry people to be less afraid. So, in February, maybe you are in some sort of relationship with someone that is the opposite of you. And sometimes people are angry because they are fearful of something. And all you can do is love them through that. Maybe Divine has a hand in this relationship. And again, with, if you are religious, it always says that the people that need love the most are the ones that are hurting the most and sometimes are your enemies. Because why would people do bad things and hurt other people or hurt themselves? It's because they're unloved. Maybe they were treated unkindly. Maybe it was their environment. There's always this debate of how do people become bad? Is it the environment or is it inherent? Like, is it genetic? Because you can have a person be brought up by the best environment with the best parents and the best family, but yet they still can be bad. So does that mean it's, is it the soul's inherent or is it genetic? Did this run in the family? Did it skip a generation? There's so many things that you can debate about it, but whether or not you believe either or, the Bible says that love overcomes everything and triumphs over everything. So if you are fearful of someone that's maybe bullying you or very angry in your relationship and you don't know how to deal with it, just always lean on the side of love and praying to God to help heal that situation or fear, or even distancing yourself off to love yourself enough to know that maybe this person just doesn't belong in your life and you have to love yourself more. So the divine will always have your back and take care of you. You just have to trust it. That sometimes situations and relationships happen in our lives to teach us a lesson, or everything kind of like happens for a reason. So if it wasn't a lesson, it could be a season or a time that this person's with you. Or maybe it was to teach something about yourself, that you see in your own self that you fear. So take as that resonates, and I hope you find some comfort in that message. In March, I'm showing Ace of Swords, which is some sort of message coming through, perhaps a truth of communication. An apology could be, or just, it could be anything with communication. So it could be a text, it could be a letter. Maybe it was an apology from the person in February that was so angry or maybe bullying you. And your oracle card says one step at a time. So patience. Lots of little steps make big dreams come true. So if you are hoping for an apology, I think you'll be getting it in March, and just know that, Rome wasn't built in a day, right? So one step at a time, patience. Don't sacrifice yourself. Take care of yourself. In the background here, I think of a lot of like pillars and like the Ring of Tara in Ireland, I think it's called. A lot of unexplained kind of natural phenomena that has happened in the past that we don't have answers for. Just theories. But a lot of times in Native American history, I think it was, that they would have a circle with the pillars here and offering up sacrifices to their gods and stuff like that. So when I see this, I think of like this could be you sacrificing yourself, helping so many people around you that maybe you need to take one step at a time and take a step back for yourself even. So That could be your own truth or your own message coming through as well. There's a rainbow here, so obviously there was a storm perhaps, or some sort of chaos. As you see in February, it was kind of stormy and cloudy, right? So here's the rainbow now in March. So this horse kind of stands on her or his own. Before they were at a beach in the sand with near water, and now they're pretty grounded with mountains in the background, which could serve as the wilderness behind you, and that you're firmly planted on the ground too. In April, you have the Chariots. This seems to be speaking of love, so the answer that you're seeking is love. I think that's been pretty prevalent in this whole reading so far. With the Chariot, they're pretty headstrong, they're moving forward, they know what they want, they're balanced. So to me, this just says lead with love. So whatever you're doing, just lead it with love in April. In May, you have the Emperor, who is representative, I believe, of Aries. And the Emperor is, if you know any Aries, they're pretty headstrong. It's pretty much their way or the highway. They think they're pretty close to perfection. They are very hard-working people, no BS, very logical, not that emotional, although they can be very charismatic and emotional when you have their hearts. Your oracle card says curiosity. Start a project related to something that you're curious about. So maybe you feel like you are the leader in something that you're curious about, be it a hobby. So explore that more. And if you are an Aries or dealing with an Aries, or just have more of a headstrong nature, put that energy into something that you are curious about. It might seem like a struggle to you, as I see like mountains in the background too, so you might feel like, especially with the rocks in here as well, that obstacles are in your way to pursue this interest that you have, but it will be worth it. And as long as your passion is there, don't let things sway you. Kittens, are very curious, and oftentimes they're very independent, much like an Aries as well. But they can be very cuddly on their terms, and very intelligent animals as well. So if this is you, it tells me a lot about you, that you are intelligent and curious, and you're a kitten, you're not a lion. So you are approachable and quite independent. So all good things there. In June, you feel like maybe something you were doing has abandoned you, left you out in the cold. Maybe this hobby that you were curious about or practicing, you're weathering a storm of some sorts, but it says that the best way to be good at a skill is to practice until you get it right. And here you have beautiful weather. So whatever it is you're trying to do, just don't give up, You have the divine with you always, like the church windows, so there's always hope. Even though they're cold, they're in this storm. They both have their legs. This one has a little bit of abandonness, but look at the positives. They're together. They're not completely alone. One is, well, actually, they both look like they're kind of barefoot here. This one has one shoe on, but you can always make a choice to go inside and get out of the cold. So I think in your mind, this is kind of like in your mind that you might be alone, but realize your confidence will soar if you just keep practicing whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. So just keep going for it. Keep your hope alive. Keep praying. In July, you have a choice to make, but you're staying neutral. You kind of are just feeling bound with these swords around you. But really, I think you could take off the blindfold and everything around you and overcome this obstacle. It says you'll know more in the morning, so when you wake up, you'll have a better idea of what to do, so relax until then. So this is the Eight of Swords. Let me see something. So this could mean that you have some sort of crisis or conflict or bad news, or even just maybe get sick. So if you have to make a decision, just sleep on it and you'll know more in the morning. This isn't a card that's something of a crisis that's permanent. It is temporary. So yeah, just get a good night's rest and you'll know what to do. You'll know how to take off these, whatever it is that binds you, and get through these swords. You're not in completely barren land, even though there's a little bit of water here. Could signify a little bit of your heart underfoot as well. But there's a lot of scenarios that can go with this, of course. Crisis can be different for everybody, as well as bad news. So just be sure to know yourself and to not give up hope. I think you'll know how to unravel the binds of what is blinding you or holding you. Oh my goodness. All right. For making a choice to keep the blindfold on. In August, you have the Empress, who can signify pregnancy, childbirth. It can also mean new beginnings. But very lavish, and basically to just make a wish. So maybe if you are wishing for family, expect the very best. The Empress, I've heard, is kind of like all the queens embodied in one. So that's a really good card to have. September, you're going to go towards calmer waters with the Six of Swords here. So you were coming out of hard times and you're going to a better destination that's calmer. So have happy thoughts to feel happier right now. Think about a memory or something that makes you smile. Being grateful and bringing yourself to a higher vibration is always helpful. In October, you're going to be working very hard, and this man is working very hard on just like one pentacle. Even though he's worked on all these other ones, he's concentrating on just one right now. So working very diligently. Could be working on your money. Your oracle card is saying let go of stress. So don't take on other people's stress. Breathe it out right now. Concentrate on your own finances and your own work in October. In November, you have some sort of loss, or you are contemplating your past and looking at these 3 cups that have spilled over, not realizing you still have 2 cups behind you that are completely full with these 5 of cups. However, the 2 cups signify balance. 5 is change, so maybe you're going through some sort of change in November or feeling some sort of loss. But your oracle card says imagine. What would you feel, think, and hear if your wishes came true? So realize that your own thoughts actually bring about your own realities. So try not to think of the what ifs, but what do you want now? You know, what do you want to create? Because that is still for you to foresee. There's always a bridge to happier times. Don't waste your time on loss and things that you can't change. What do you want to have happen, and work towards that? So that's for November. In December, you have the 7 of Cups. So you have a lot of options here. And it says share. When you share, everyone feels happy. So it looks like you have a lot of options that the divine is making happen, a lot of opportunity. And you are abundant in making your choices and sharing this so that everyone in your life can feel happy. So choose your choices wisely. Everything in moderation. And if you're feeling selfish, realize that it's more fun to give and to share, and that you'll actually acquire more, because love kind of is something you can't contain, right? It's something that is from the divine as well. Your heart will swell with even more love and opportunity and options as well. So be a giving person if you are abundant in your opportunities and choices. And love, and cups speak of love and emotions. So yeah. Let's see what else. Yeah, maybe you've just been selfish with your heart, because the color red kind of stands out to me, which for me signifies love, or your heart. Maybe you've built up walls and you found it hard to share your life or share what you have with others. But try to break down those walls and be a little bit vulnerable if you want to have someone in your life or with your friends. Be a little bit more open with them in December, okay? So I hope you enjoyed this reading and have a wonderful day. Thank you.